It's been 2 years since the first attacks on resource-rich Cabo Delgado province in Mozambique, which led to the deaths of many civilians and the halting of TotalEnergies gas operations in the region. Is there hope for stability at all? Joe van der Walt, the CEO of Focus Group, joins us now. Very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. Firstly, can you tell us whether the level of conflict has risen since the initial attacks 2 years ago, and also some of the tactics insurgents may be using to carry out their attacks?
Hi, Mbo. Funny, we've actually seen a downturn in the frequency of attacks, especially if we compare 2022 to 2023. In 2022, there was about 508 insurgency-led attacks. From the beginning of this year until now, we've seen up to 122, which is basically more or less 50% less than comparison to last year. A big reason for this is that in 2022, there was a big geographical expansion of the insurgency. We actually saw them moving south into Nampula province. They were also moving to a western direction in Cabo Delgado, occupying regions like Montepies and Balama. Since 2023, we have actually seen them moving back to the northern districts of Cabo Delgado, occupying, mainly Macomia, Modibe, and Mosimbawa, the Praia. Which is traditionally as what we see as the conflict zone. We have also seen that since February this year, there's been a lot of sporadic attacks on the FADM, on their outposts and their bases. We've also seen the insurgency changing tactics, where they are following a more hearts and mind approach. They are actually, teaching the local villagers about the Quran, buying food from them and so forth, where in the past they would decapitate them and burn down their villages and so forth. From a tactic point of view, there's a few concerning things that jumps out, barring the fact that they are very good at collecting information on the security cluster, the security forces, FADM and the police, in order to determine position, force movement, manpower, weapons and so forth, especially before attacks. We've also seen that they have now been making use of improvised explosive devices, IEDs and landmines, which is, of course, very concerning. So that's more or less the position we find ourselves in the current situation.
With all these concerns that you've raised, perhaps at this stage, remind our viewers why, to begin with, Cabo Delgado is such a contested area. What is it about that part of Mozambique that makes it so appealing to the likes of Islamic State?
Look, traditionally, there have been a lot of ungoverned space in Cabo Delgado, just because of the vastness and the lay of the land and so forth. So approximately 10 years ago, when we had the boom in the extractive industry, gas, rubies, diamonds and so forth, a lot of international players came in. There was a lot of displacement of people of the land that they used to occupy. There was also an expectation that, there would be much more employment for local nationals. This, unfortunately, have not been the case. There's been a lot of marginalization in that province specifically. And unfortunately, due to illiteracy rates and so forth, people felt that they could not employ some of the local nationals. And also because the political connected factions and so forth, they were the ones getting all the favorable contracts, again, letting the local communities behind, as we have seen so many times in Africa before.
When it comes to the death toll, to date, how many deaths have been reported in the region?
Look, that's a very difficult one. There is I don't think anyone can say exactly what the exact number. But from our records, it's well above 4,700 people, easily. If it's most probably closer to 5,000.
Does it appear as though security forces are making any sort of headway in respect of bringing some form of stability to the region?
The short answer is no. Look, they have not managed to have a sustainable counter-insurgency against, or the sustainable insurgency against the insurgency from the start of the conflict. And this is a big problem because, the security cluster is it's ill-disciplined, poor command and control. They have this heavy-handed approach in dealing with the local nationals. There's been cases reported of rape, theft from local villagers while they go on patrol and so forth. And I think, the big problem is that we are, people like the African Union, Peace and Security Council, the European Union, countries like US, Portugal, and so forth. They are giving training and some logistical support. But that's not, the problem is the command and control. I think the big problem is that the security cluster in general needs to be a contributor to the economy of the country. What I mean by that is that if they actually just do their job, there will be peace and stability. But having this heavy-hand approach and so forth, international companies now need to bring in international firms to actually come and protect them, which means this comes at inflated prices and so forth. Yeah. So my question with this is that if the security cluster actually does its job, the international companies can use this money that they would have spent on this international firms. They can channel that money to the local nationals to empower them for local training and corporate social responsibilities. But this is not happening, purely because the security cluster is failing.
More questions than answers. Thank you very much. Let's perhaps leave it there for now. Joe van der Walt, the CEO of Focus Group, joining us there, speaking about Cabo Delgado's insurgency.